Thank you, Mr.
Dr.
Speaker.
Russel Norman.
To lawful lava, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Energy and Resources and asks, will he, before issuing any permits for deep water oil drilling in the Great South Basin, ensure that all drilling companies have the ability to control any leaks that develop?
The Honourable Cherry Brownlee.
Mr. Speaker, the member is clearly concerned about the incident in the Mexican Gulf occurring in New Zealand waters. Can I tell him that the New Zealand government is equally concerned, as I believe are all oil companies throughout the world. So we would firstly like to indicate that we have officials from the Maritime Authority in the United States at the moment working alongside and also observing the work that's being done to try and rectify the problem there and indeed to find out exactly what the problem was in the first place. But more importantly, as part of our Petroleum Action Plan, we've required a body of work to be done on the environmental protection that would be required in the exclusive economic zone. And our expectation is that that work would be completed in time for it to be included in that legislation, and that given we don't have any prospect of deep water drilling in New Zealand for at least the next 18 months, we would expect that those new requirements in the new law and that companies will comply with that. But at the moment I think it's very much a case of find out exactly what happened, because it appears no one quite knows, and that's not a satisfactory situation.
Dr. Russel Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In light of that answer, will he give an assurance to this House that no drilling will proceed in deep water in the Great South Basin until the oil companies can demonstrate that they have the ability to plug a leak like the one we've seen in the Gulf of Mexico?
The Honourable Cherry Brownlee.
Mr. Speaker, I think the first point is there is no drilling planned for any deep water area in New Zealand, and that's defined in the US as being below 300 metres, and certainly in the next 18 months, perhaps to 2 years. So I'm of the strong view that any of the oil companies who might be interested in pursuing their options will themselves, for a matter of their own liability, want to make sure that they are as safe as they possibly can. Couple that with the environmental protections we will put in the exclusive economic zone legislation, and I think that the assurance can be given that the government will do all it can to ensure that there is a stronger safety regime in place for people drilling in deep water New Zealand.
Dr. Russel Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. While accepting the assurance that the government will do all it can, does he accept that New Zealanders do not want drilling to go ahead in deep water until the oil companies have actually proven that they have the ability to plug a leak like this, because so far they have not proven they have the ability to stop the leak?
The Honourable Cherry Brownlee.
Mr. Speaker, I think it's fair to say that there is one company with a problem, and it's now emerging that they have had quite a significant number of problems over a long period of time, and that perhaps the monitoring didn't show that up quickly enough, which does make me think that we do need to have those strong regimes. But I do appreciate that New Zealanders will want to be comforted that the very best of technology is going to be applied to any drilling operations in deep water New Zealand.
Dr. Russel Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I accept that it is the very best of technology. Doesn't he accept that the very best of technology may not be enough, and that given the ecological sensitivity of the Great South Basin, we shouldn't allow deep water drilling until the oil companies have demonstrated that they actually have the ability to plug one of these holes?
Honourable Cherry Brownlee.
Mr. Speaker, as I said at the outset, there is no plan to drill in that part of New Zealand or any other deep water part of New Zealand for at least 18 months, perhaps to 2 years. And I would be very, very surprised if any oil company went ahead without having the capacity to do exactly as the member suggests.
Question number 4, the Honourable Annette King.
Thank you, Mr.